Whether you're a solo player looking for somewhere to live or part of a big clan looking for somewhere to stash your loot, rat holes are a vital part of PvP. Many people think they're not viable to build in anymore, but that has been proven very wrong. And today I'm going to show you a bunch of different rat holes and how to potentially build in some of them. Starting off today, right behind the Descent of Dagon and across from the Eastern Barracks, we have possibly one of the best known about ones, the chimney. Upon running past, it would be easy to think it is just a little cave, but going in you'll see that it actually does go up a fair ways. And built right, it's actually fairly defendable and you have a fair room for activities in here. You can fit pretty much every bench you do need quite nicely. If you wish to make it a main base, you can actually build out the front because people are going to find you land claims sweeping pretty easily anyway, so it's worthy to stack out the front with a bunch of nonsense. This next spot is definitely a bit more of a stash rather than a living situation, but as it's off of the beaten track quite a bit and many people tend to not look up, unless people are dedicatedly land claim sweeping, like so, they're not going to find your base in here, or your stash spot rather. There's a fair bit of space for stashing and you can be pretty hidden here. The location for this is just across from the Descent of Dagon, easy to reach across these little bridges. Through here, there's also some really nice little trees that you can build in, like back here, that go fairly unnoticed as well. Not a really good rat hole, but like a nice little beginner base off the beaten track spot. And that one's just here. Onto one of my next favorite spots in the jungle. This spot here is particularly good because, again, off the beaten track, you've got a whole bunch of birds, which can be one skull birds, which you can get a lot of different random goodies off, a lot of demon blood. You can build a fairly sizable base here before it's even noticed from anyone down below who's not land claim sweeping. But the best part about here is there's a really nice hidden nook. This nook is definitely well known about now. Just down in this little hole, do some crouching. And it doesn't look like a lot of room, but you can actually build pretty much any bench in here. It has quite a lot of space enabled for that, which is quite nice. But what I like to do with this space particularly is use it more of like a box stash spot. Build a whole floor of boxes. They've done a shocking job here. You can have a bed back there. You should probably also seal off this little bit. You can also then place like a large carpenter's bench, dismantle that when you need. It's located right here on this plateau. You can also make the top pretty stashy for the unsuspecting eye with some stable pieces. They're not really paying attention. They're not going to probably notice that. Now you can have your little doorway in. Just down the road from our little plateau, we are going to find the Gate of the Moon. Just in here. No one's even going to suspect a thing. And depending on how you build it, you can have more room in there or make it quite unnoticeable or build a big decoy base here, as it will be land claim swept. You can end up with a fair few levels and room for activities. Pretty spacious once you start building in a lot of these. Let me know in the comments if you want a detailed guide on how to build out a whole bunch of them and make them a bit more defensible and lay out chests and stuff. This next spot is just a place I'm chucking in just in case you maybe want to use it. Maybe you have a base in the cave just up here and you want a little bit of a stash close by but a little bit far away. The spot I showed earlier is also great if you happen to have a cave base, but we are here. Now, you don't want to go too high up because you'll die, but you can get to about in here and build a little situation that no one's going to notice. Pop a couple of boxes in there. Kind of like so. You can configure it how you like. But just a little example. Unless people are looking up, which they're probably not running through here, you're going to go fairly unnoticed. I'm by no means showing all of the rat holes. If you happen to notice I haven't shared your favorite or you're thinking, why didn't I? Gotta leave something up for you guys to discover, and I don't want all of my spots that I use to be found. But these are some more common ones and a few that I just chuck in because this game. Let me know in the comments if any of these spots have been your favorites so far. Ooh, the next spot we're going to is located right near the Boulevard of the Northern Star. Running along the cliffside, you will come across a fairly decent sized crack in the cliff. This definitely has a lot of room for activities if you build it right. If you have a decoy base kind of nearby, somewhere down the hill, people might not run up there to check if they don't happen to know about it or something like that. And that goes with all of these stash holes. Having decoy bases nearby can help deflect from their actual location for land claim sweepers. Or you can build up out the front and make it kind of defensible for a crack. But if you're going to do that, you might as well just build a big normal base at that point, as it's not quite as defendable as that chimney spot if you do that. There's a really nice plateau right above it though, along the green wall, but these spots are generally found pretty quickly because people do like to scout along the green wall first off, because it's easy to do that, and lots of people think that that's off the beaten track enough, but not so much. Heading over into the desert, there's lots and lots of spots out here for rat holes and stash spots, but some of my favorite happen to be located kind of close to each other. One is just down here at the Southern Aqueduct. You'll often find someone built up on there or even up here, but conveniently this spot usually isn't affected by their land claim. Take a little dip in here and you'll find this crevice. Built right, you could definitely use this as more than just a stash spot if you're a solo player and live underneath the enemy's nose. If you are to do something like that, or you just want another stash hole in the location, head over to the Altar of Chaos Mouth just a little bit across the valley, and you'll find this tower right here where you can shimmy into this hole. You can't unfortunately stick like a bearer in this spot and have like no land claim sweep, but you can have a pretty sneaky something here with a fair few boxes in, and built right, you can make it a little bit defendable to a few bombs at least. Now this next spot is very sneaky indeed. I don't blame you if you don't recognize where we're at, but you can have a fully functioning base here. We've got improved alchemists, we've got tanners, we've got 2 fireball cauldrons, we've got furnaces, we've got fluid presses, stoves, dryers, boxes, everything, carpenters' benches, blacksmiths, armorers, fridges. I don't have a campfire, could fit a campfire. Bunch of chests, tanner's table. If you spend some more time pottering about at your placement, you'd probably fit a bunch more in here too. This just took me about 5 seconds to whack it all down. You can fit a bedroll, which you can spawn at and not get stuck inside the mesh. This location is just here. Can you believe it? Right there. Can't even notice there's a base there, let alone the functioning base that we have here. Heading over towards King's Knee. You may have seen these jaggedy rocks about. It's worth the climb up in certain areas. This is quite a hidden place that's off the beaten track, but the best part about this is that it has an even more hidden spot right in here. So you can easily build a decoy base and layer that, and or just have a secret hidden base in there. Not so far away from there, we have another little nook. I've had a 2x2 here that's lived on a very active them trying to kill me server for the longest, but I've also logged into a server where I was body vaulted here to wake up in someone's base. So be warned. Especially building out of Catan, it's quite sneaky here. I quite like this spot because there's also room for activities like placing map rooms and thrower wheels and whatever you need down here. If you climb up here, this isn't the spot, but it's a nice spot. We keep going up and it looks like nothing much, and then we walk off the edge. And we have ourselves one of my favorite cracks in the entire game. You can fit a bunch here, even if someone is built over. Here, you can still build your base here and they likely won't notice you, because I've done that. Right near it also, there's another little nook just down here that you can build a little something. You're more likely to be found on this one though than up here. This is just one of the most hidden ones in the entire game. Can't even find it myself, and I build here all the time. Get a fair few layers of boxes in there, build a little decoy base out the front with your crafting benches, whatever. That spot is just by Westwatch Keep. Maybe you like building in the snow. There's a fairly sneaky spot located right by the Black Keep, Ruins of Zalin, and the obelisk to the north there. just up here, you can in fact build here. You can't build there, and you start not being able to build again over here. You can build a huge thing here, or you can build a little stashy stash. Of course, this place is pretty known about, but it sometimes people don't, and there you go. This is probably one of the biggest rat holes that you will find in the Exiled lands, known as the anthill along the border of the volcano. It's pretty hard to get here, and it's pretty hard to see. Just near there, you can also build quite a nice little thing just above the cave entrance into the volcano. Along here, building is also all allowed. And the entrance to the volcano is just here. Very few people actually climb up there, and you can build it without actually being seen. As well as bases all the way up here. There's so many spots along the volcano, like this is just a couple. Building up here, you can go pretty hid. It takes an effort to get here though. Inside the volcano for this one, it's also pretty commonly known about, and it's really obvious when something's here because this guy won't be here. You can boop down into this nice little crevasse. Decent room for stassages. On your way down to the Well of Skelos, there's another little crack, and if you build it right, it's very undetectable. Just in here. This next spot can't be really used as a main base spot, but it's a nice little stash spot or log out spot in the volcano. If you can't be bothered running back home, you can build a thing in here that's quite invisible. Just here by the bridge of Vermundureth. This one isn't so much a rat hole as a really nice ledge in the middle of nowhere. Right near the green wall, there's a couple of spots along here, but this is a nice little plateau. Nobody's lands claim sweeping you here, and unless they're flying their bat of Nurgle around to locate you, it's gonna be hard. You can also build all the way up here and be quite hid. You get to a point where you can't build any further up. Invalid building location. You can build all here and down here. Like I mentioned earlier, there are a lot more stash holes and rat holes about the Exiled lands. These are just some of my favorites and a couple I chucked in for shits and gigs. Hopefully you can find something that suits your needs and keep your loot a little bit more spread out. And or find a place to live full time like this one below us. Do stick around for one of these guides coming up that hopefully you will find informative. And if you found this guide informative, do smash that like button and consider subscribing if you're not already. It means a bunch. Until next time, I hope you have an excellent day, evening, night, morning, whatever it may be, wherever you may be. Have a good one.